The Switch will be turning 2 years old very soon, and time has flown by so fast. There have been so many games, accessories, updates, and changes, and it's just all happened so quickly, and yet I can still so clearly remember that first day I picked up my Switch.
Go to sleep.
Fast forward 2 years later, and the Switch has been doing phenomenally well. It already had a great first year thanks to games like Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey and just the whole concept of the Switch itself, but the second year has really kept up that momentum. In fact, Nintendo reported that at the end of 2018, they have sold 32.27 million Switches total, and that is a lot for a 2-year time frame. In fact, the Switch is the fastest selling console ever in a lot of the regions it's been made available. It's been selling so fast that it's already passed up the GameCube, and it's well on its way, and if it hasn't actually already passed with sales we haven't recorded yet, probably going to pass up the N64. To put that further in perspective, Nintendo set a pretty lofty goal for themselves of selling 20 million Switches in their second fiscal year, which actually isn't over yet, that's at the end of March, but already so far it's at 15 million for that year, so they don't have too much more to go, and even if they don't quite reach it, it's going to be so close that honestly, still an amazing sales year. So that's how it's been selling, but let's actually talk about what's changed over the last year, starting with the system software itself. There's basically been 3 major updates, at least numerically, the first of which was the 5.0 update, which happened shortly after the first year anniversary. Now this update was kind of big, kind of not. It was mostly a lot of quality of life updates for things like adding friend suggestions if you've tied your Nintendo account to a Facebook or Twitter, improved functionality for buying games online and downloading them to your Switch, and some more icons to choose from. The real big update though came later in September with the big 6.0 that brought us Nintendo Switch Online. This is the update that brought a lot of functions we were waiting a long time for to come to the Switch, including cloud saves. You could actually have a safe place to store your save data aside from the Switch itself if it ever gets damaged, the ability to link a Nintendo account with multiple Switches, not just one, so you could play games on one and then keep playing another, especially if you're sharing with family members or there's just multiple ones going around, and also adding, of course, a number of retro games that has been building library over time, including a lot of awesome classics and some interesting remixes on them as well, like a version of Legend of Zelda that just gives you all the items and upgrades right at the start. This was definitely the most significant big change and update that has happened over the last year. There was one more, the 7.0, which happened in December, and basically added new profile pictures from Super Mario Bros. That's about it. Not a lot. One other big change that happened earlier this year is that we finally got one big media update to the system. YouTube made its way to the Switch, opening up a lot more options of what you can do with the system as far as being able to watch content, not just play games. But the system is still lacking a little bit in this area, as we still don't have any kind of dedicated music app or even Netflix. It's basically Hulu and YouTube. Good step, just need a little more.
May you dream of lovely things and awake to find them real.
While Nintendo made a lot of software updates to the Switch, they weren't really able to address any of the hardware issues that people have slowly been more and more complaining about on the system. So, lots of third-party companies and Kickstarter stepped in this year to really try and address these issues. While the first year of Switch accessories were a whole lot of carrying cases and comfort grips, this last year was just straight hardware improvements, and one of the biggest was Bluetooth. During the first year of the Switch, there was a huge Kickstarter for the Genki Bluetooth adapter, and after numerous copycats started coming out during this last year, we finally got the Genki itself adding Bluetooth support on the Switch, so you can use your favorite bit of wireless headphones and even AirPods. Another big thing was D-pads. While it makes a lot of sense why Nintendo doesn't have a D-pad on the stock standard Joy-Con, because it defeats the whole purpose of using it sideways, that hasn't stopped a lot of people from missing having that control option, especially when you're using your Switch in handheld mode. So a lot of companies started offering alternative ways to fix that, including adding your own D-pad using a shell exchange, a D-pad that just attaches to the top of the buttons, and even Hori released their own third-party Joy-Con that doesn't really have any of the normal functions and isn't wireless, but hey, it gives you that D-pad that everyone has been wanting. And of course, with the release of Super Smash Bros. Last year, a big focus of the holiday season was GameCube-themed accessories. The Nintendo Switch already started supporting GameCube adapters left over from the Wii U with a software update during its first year, but over this last year, we saw Nintendo re-release the adapter adapter for Switch, releasing new GameCube controllers, and all the major third-party companies offered their own Switch-compatible GameCube-style controllers from Hori, PDP, PowerA, and even 8BitDo got in the mix, adding their own GameCube wireless adapter. And while the Switch has been selling really strong, we haven't seen any kind of major price drop on the system itself. This year did see a lot of new bundles coming out with different games included, and even starting to see a big uptick in special edition designs that are still a little rough around the edges, but are getting better and better, with special editions for Super Smash Bros., Diablo, and probably my personal favorite, the Pokemon edition. One thing that we haven't got in the US though that Japan got that's really interesting and I'm surprised we haven't seen yet is a dockless Switch option where, yeah, it still works with the dock, but if you already own one Switch and you want to get one for someone else, you don't necessarily need a whole new dock for it. There's one at a discounted rate that I really hope we see here sometime soon.
Close your eyes, little one, this is...
Now, accessories, special edition bundles, sales, that's all well and good, but the most important thing is, of course, the games. And while this last year had a lot of great games on all platforms, the Switch in particular had a lot of awesome, amazing first-party exclusives, and to top that off, a lot of games that were ported from the Wii U that were great for their time, but just sadly didn't get the chance they deserved because the system died so soon. We got Kirby Star Allies, which maintained the classic gameplay of the series, but putting it all in this co-op adventure that was just so much fun, and admittedly also really cute at the same time. Nintendo introduced us to Nintendo Labo, which honestly for adults wasn't necessarily the biggest hit, but was this amazing concept idea for families that was not only a lot of fun, but really educational. Mario Tennis brought us another really fun Mario-themed sports game, although I can't help but feel like it may have deprived us of another Strikers, which I'm a little bitter about. Octopath Traveler brought us an amazing retro RPG experience that had this intense visual style blending old-school 16-bit style graphics with this 3D effect. And while it was technically a multi-platform game, Starlink Battle for Atlas had so much amazing Star Fox exclusive content for Switch, it basically made it the go-to version. And of course, you can't talk about great Switch games without mentioning two hits that came out at the end of last year, two games that are already amongst the top 5 selling Nintendo Switch games, period. Pokemon Let's Go, which revisits and reinvented the classic Pokemon style mechanics, but with a fresh coat of paint. And of course, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which brings back all the characters from past games with some great new additions. And of course, those Wii U ports that got a second chance at life, we got Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, Hyrule Warriors, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Monster Hunter Generations, and Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. While all of those games made for a great last year, there is still so much more on the horizon. There are a lot of games they've announced for the Switch that are either coming up really soon, like Yoshi's Crafted World, and not too long after that, Fire Emblem Three Houses, but there's also a ton of games that we've gotten hyped up for, but we still don't have an exact date for just yet that will hopefully be coming within the next year. Games like Bayonetta 3, Metroid Prime 4, Super Mario Maker 2, a new Animal Crossing, a new actual full-blown Pokemon game, and a Link's Awakening remake they just revealed that looks really cool. And all these games are not the only thing we have to look forward to this coming year. While Nintendo has remained very tight-lipped and constantly refuses to acknowledge any possibility of a new version of the Switch, it has been heavily rumored that a new model Switch is on its way within the next year. But what form that'll take, we just don't know yet. The two popular theories that a lot of people are debating are either a Switch Pro, something that's going to offer things like better battery life, better graphics, more functionality, or maybe a slimmed down, cheaper version, a Switch Mini that is smaller with Joy-Cons you can't remove, but be something that's much more accessible to kids. And those aren't the only changes that might be coming to Nintendo within the next year. A lot of stuff is going on right now. There's been a lot of rumors about possible closer relationships with Xbox, bringing Xbox published games like Ori and Cuphead over the system, and even adding things like Xbox Game Pass and cloud streaming to it. And then of course, we have to mention the biggest change that's happened recently. Reggie is leaving us. We're gonna miss you, man.
What's wrong with you?